Good morning, welcome to Fibertown. This is episode 75, and I am Emily, Chain of Fools on Ravelry and Fibertown with an R-E on Instagram. It is the 13th of August, had to look at my phone, 2014. Welcome. I'm on my porch this morning. Alice is outside in her sunny spot. I doubt she'll come and join us, but we'll see. Let's see, as I said, you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, and on my blog, which is fibertown.blogspot.com, and on the Rav group, which, guess what, you guys? You guys are the best. We are over 700 members now. I made a little mention last week of how nice it would be, because we were getting close, how nice it would be to get to 700, and lo and behold, y'all made it happen. So, thank you for joining. And we have a couple people who introduced themselves in the introductions thread. The first one is Naughty Granola, who's from BC in the Canada. And her name is Hazel. She is a spinner and a knitter, and she has a couple little kids, and I'm glad you're not lurking anymore and said hi. Let's see, then we have Pink Fawn, who is Nancy from Southern Ontario, also in the Canada. And she has one little girl who's 2.5, and let's see, she has a soft spot for Bostons, she says. How can you not? And she is a bit of a gourmet stash addict, apparently. I don't know what that's like. Welcome. Thanks for introducing yourselves, and thanks for watching, everybody who is returning and just brand new. I'm glad you're here. It's a lovely day. I have the ceiling fans going, but there is a breeze, so I apologize if there's some wind. You might also hear some banging noises, and I will explain those later. Okay, let's see, we have a lot today. But first, I want to say thank you to Molly of A Homespun House. I love her podcast. She is really, has got sort of an enchanting persona, and she knits great stuff, and she's in Germany, and so there's a bit of the exotic to her podcast, and I was watching her, and lo and behold, she starts talking about me. So I'm so glad you're watching and that you enjoy it, Molly, and thank you for your podcast, because I do really enjoy that one as well. If you don't watch A Homespun House, go check it out. Okay, so we have to talk about today: FOs, whips, spinning, up and coming, acquisitions, and Ask Fibertown. So let's do FOs. Big fat zero. Again. Yikes. Although you guys are putting your FOs and your works in progress in the summer of S, and that is fantastic. And we are well over 800 posts in that thread, so go check it out. There are lots of prizes. I showed them last week. So I hope you guys are into the prizes and you will try to win them. And I really enjoy watching what you're posting there and listening to the conversations and getting a lot of inspiration. Now, I said I have 0 FOs. However, 3 of my old FOs are wrapped up in a box and will be posted today to Webb's, America's Yarn Store in Northampton, Mass. And if you guys don't know about the Knit One Heart 2 podcast, go check them out. It's Wendy and Sheila, and they are hosting with Webb's a charity shawl drive. So if there are shawls that you have already knit and for some reason they don't suit you, or you just never wear them, and you've got, like me, a giant chest, a giant chest of drawers filled with hand knits, and you need room because you're always making more, here's your chance to send those already made shawls to people who need them, and Webb's is distributing them. So, and you can win prizes through Wendy and Sheila's podcast, which is the Knit One Heart 2, and that's TOO 2. So yes, what did I send? I put in my Advent shawl that I knit last winter, which is just, it's out of Swan's Island merino. It's so cushy. Doesn't suit me. It's not the right style for me, but it'll keep someone's shoulders warm. I also sent my Annis shawl that I knit out of Meduseld. Romney, which is just gorgeous. Somebody's gonna love that too. And I sent my Wingspan, which is more of a shawlette, but I'm sending it anyway. My Wingspan, which is out of Fiber Optic Paint Box Gradient. Yeah, so it's nice yarn. So I'm sending that. I'm sending 3 things, so check that out. So those are some previous FOs that have seen some action, and we'll see more action being gifted to folks who need them. Works in progress. I have been a busy little knitter this week. I've been doing a lot of design work, and that's taken a lot of my knitting time, and I have knit several things for designs this week. However, I was able to cast on a couple new things. Take a look. Yes, I'm knitting on straight needles. Look, these are cute needles. They're little strawberries. Cute. We're gonna focus. There we go. Oh, come on. Yes, so they're cute little size 5 needles, and I'm knitting a washcloth for another charity knit along, and this is for the Hudson Valley Knits podcast, and that's with Memers. Amy, who is adorable and made me laugh out loud when I listened to her last podcast with the Outlander review. I totally agree with you, Amy. So yes, this is out of yarn that was sent to me by Michelle from Houston. I think you're Quilted Knit Girl. I think that's right. She sent me a giant package of yarn, and I have hardly any cotton, so I decided to use the cotton she sent to knit this for Memers washcloth drive, and she is doing that for seniors, like seniors in a senior center, obviously, that she visits over the holidays. I think she's looking for 200 of them, washcloths, to give away, and she'll be giving it with other nice products like soaps and whatnot. But yeah, a nice little hand knit washcloth, and this is Habu. I'll show you the tag in a minute. It's a thick and thin single cotton, and it's much more of a watery green than it's showing up. So let's see, this is called Cotton Naramaki Slub, and it comes already in a cake, and it says, please, what does it say? Please double up the yarn when casting on. So I'm doing that. I'm doubling up the yarn. It says hand wash only, but nah, that shouldn't be right. It's making a really squishy, lovely fabric, and I will test this out. I will wash it, machine wash it, before I send it, just to make sure that it's going to hold up. And if for some reason it doesn't, then I'll use the washcloth and I'll knit another one. I plan to knit several of these. So it's just super simple garter stitch. But take a look again. The fabric it's very squish-tastic. It looks better in person, let me just say that. I'm not slipping the edges or anything fancy because it's supposed to look slubby and rustic. So yeah, knitting on straights. That is work in progress number 1. What else do I have? I have this. This is my Spanish sock. This is the first one that you've seen. It's Fildar Folk 100 in the Comet colorway, and I did 2 purl stitches down the side. Of course I forgot to do the purl stitches on the second one. That should have seen that one coming. I cast on, you saw the cast on last week. I'm now to the heel flap. These are knit on my Carbons double points. I gotta tell you a dirty little secret about my Carbons. I have a set of US 1.5s, which are 2.5 millimeters, and US 1s, which must be 2.25 millimeters, I think. I use them all interchangeably in the same sock. I probably shouldn't. So yeah, I forgot to do the purl stitches. Am I gonna drop down and re-purl them? No. So yes, I've just started the heel flap. That has not seen a ton of love this week. Again, probably because of the design knitting. Making the prototypes. But that's okay. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Where is that? Here it is. I needed to cast on my Maryland Mermaid handspun. Here it is. There we go. It is a single, which is a bit of a risk. Now, I cast this on, I tried a variety of different patterns. I tried a hitchhiker, wasn't the right thing. I tried a, oh, what was it called? Can't remember the name of the shawl, but it started with a garter tab cast on, and that wasn't doing it for me either. And then I remembered knitting the honey cowl. What a zen knit it is, and how much fun it is to see what the colors do, and how it's easy to keep track of what you're doing in the pattern. And I said, oh, I'm going to cast on a honey shawl. It's a free pattern. It's put out through Madeline Tosh. It's by Antonia Shankland. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera. I am untangling things. Yes, written by Antonia Shankland, and it's very easy to customize. It's knit in a DK Light worsted, the pattern is. But it's really just a 2-stitch repeat. So you could cast on any even number of stitches and go to town. So I don't know how many I cast on. It was many more than the pattern calls for because my yarn is significantly thinner. It is a light fingering, this yarn. I think it was 32 wraps per inch. Sorry, Alice is out there. We had a lot of rain yesterday, and I'm just making sure she doesn't eat mushrooms in the yard. Okay, she's not eating anything. Okay, so yeah, I cast on a honey cowl, and it looks beautiful. And I think it's going to be fairly long. It's all bunched up, obviously. I'm hoping that I'm making the right call, keeping this as a singles. But my criteria for finding a pattern for this was that it had to be, given the colors and the sparkle, I didn't want a frou-frou pattern. I needed something simple, maybe geometric. The geometric didn't work. But this is so simple, and the textured stitches look really nice. It's just knits, purls, and slips. That's all there is to this pattern. But it does make a nice texture, and I'm starting to see, we had a lot of green in the beginning. There we go. Then some teal, and now we're into purple. Now you join in the round, being careful not to twist, right? I have a twist. I could have sworn I had it. Okay, this all looks good, it all looks good, it all looks good. See right there? There's the twist. So I'm gonna mess with that and see if I can untwist it without ripping, because a singles yarn, it's not gonna take kindly to ripping. So I might just drop down around here. If I find that if you twist a cast on by accident, if you catch it within the first few rows, you can just untwist it, and it doesn't make a big difference. But if you twist it back when it's knit, this has been knit about a ½ inch, you're gonna get it's not gonna look good. So I need to spend some quality time with this and figure that out without ripping, hopefully. That is it for my works in progress. I have spinning. Alice, is that you? I think she wants to come in. Let me grab her. And then I'll show you my spinning. Oh, hey, I'm wearing an FO. This is my heliotropic. Oh yeah, she's jumping. Be right back. There's a girl. Come on. Cookie up here. Don't flop over. There we go. Say hello. There we go. Ooh, you smell like dirt. Did you go in the garden? Did you pick green beans? Let me see your paws. Pretty clean. Sometimes she digs carrots. But those are all gone. We pulled them out. They're delicious this year. What was I saying? Yes, my spinning. You want to lay down here? Here. My spinning this week was awesome. First, I spun 4 ounces of dark chocolatey Jacob from Yarn Art Studio. I bought this 2 or 3 years ago at Maryland Sheep and Wool. 340 yards of a 2-ply. Look at that dark chocolatey goodness. It's a rustic spin. You saw some veg matter in there. But just very squishy and nice. This might be lovely. It's spun woolen, so it's nice and lofty. This might be really nice in one of the Brooklyn Tweed, who is Jared Flood. One of the smallish scarfy shawls. It's very sort of Faroe Island knit kind of pattern with, you know, lace. I'm not making any sense, am I? Anyway, that's what I'm thinking for that. I also spun something I won last year for the Tour de Fleece. I won this from the Mustache Podcast Girls, just for participating in their group for Tour de Fleece last year. This is some gorgeous Falkland by Godiva Yarns, and colorway is just a number. I have 214 yards of a chain ply. Came out really nice. I have not spun that much Falkland, but I did enjoy this. It was easy to spin. It was enjoyable. It'd be a great hat, I think. Where's my card for this? Oh, here it is. Now, this is something else. I'm spinning all my older fibers. So this falls in that category as well. Things that have been in my stash for a while that need to get used up before they get too compressed. This is Julie Spins, and I won this fiber on the Knitting in Circles podcast. This is Falkland, more Falkland, combed top. It's the Oak Creek Canyon colorway. It's 6.2 ounces. So I split this in thirds, so 2 ounce, 2 ounce, 2 ounce. And I'm going to spin a 3-ply. It's been a while since I've done a 3-ply. So, and it's the colors are melding together beautifully in the single. I have this much spun already. So I'm not going to show you the bobbin, but it's going to be very tonal, a very verging on semi-solid, I think, but with different shades of color in it. So that is a lovely spin. I'll be working on that this week. 2 more things in spinning to show you. This is my jar of singles scraps. You know, if you have a bobbin, 2 bobbins, or 3 bobbins, and there's just a little bit left on one of the bobbins after you ply, and it's not enough really to make an Andean plying bracelet and add that to your spin. I've taken these off the bobbins, and I've got a full jar. It weighs 4 ounces now. This is 4 ounces of single scraps. So, for example, this was some BFL from Fraptious Fibers. This was some Dragonfly, little ball of Dragonfly, Polar Silk, I think. And I'm going to, I saw this, I think, on the Knit Girls. Leslie did this. She took all her leftovers, spinning leftovers, and did a 2-ply, random 2-ply. I think that's going to be super fun. Ooh. Got a shield maiden barking here. Don't fuss, it's just my reflection. Shield maiden's not too smart sometimes. Okay, yes, then my spindling. I have some gorgeousness on my Spanish Peacock bead whirl. This is the Gourmet Stash Waterweed Outlander reference. This is 50/50 yak silk. I have not had enough time to spin this as much as I would like, because look at how beautiful. It shines. It's like a cloud of luxury. So luxurious. And I adore the way it's spinning. I have 2 ounces. Show you again. It's going to be a 2-ply. It's flipping gorgeous. She's going to be adding a purple to her Outlander colorways. I think I'm going to have that. I love purple and green together. Always have. What else? That's it for spinning. Up and coming, up and coming. Okay. Speaking of Outlander, I'm toying with the idea of a new weaving project based on something I saw in Outlander, the first episode. All right, there's our heroine, Claire. There she is. Can you see that shawl she's wearing? It is a very muted tartan. I'll show you again. Look how gorgeous. I want to weave that. If you are a weaver, could you help me out? Could you tell me what kind of warp I need to use? Do I need to use cotton? What do y'all think? I want to use wool, obviously, in the weft. But tell me about the warp. I await your pearls of wisdom. So I would love to do that. It was gorgeous. The picture doesn't do it justice. But that is up and coming, sort of imaginary weaving. What else? I need to do some birthday knitting for my boys. They both have birthdays in the first week of September. That would be my husband and my son. I'm gonna knit hats. Hats. What else? Oh, yes. This yarn, where is it? The ball? Oh, please. Oh, here it is. This is my Berchetta, which I processed, I washed, processed, spun, dyed, and over-dyed. This was knit into my Viajante and then frogged. I've washed and reskeined everything. And I think this wants to be the silver, what is it called? Silver Scape? Let me show you a picture. I got some lawn mowing going on. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, this is the Silver Scape cardigan by Kirsten Hipsky. It is a Webb's design. I have the right gauge for it with this yarn and size 6 needles. And I love the way you have this sort of Art Nouveau rays coming out of the yoke, and they're down at the bottom of the sleeves as well. I own this pattern. I bought it several years ago. And then I can't find it anywhere. It was a digital download. I cannot find it anywhere. So I emailed Webb's, because it never hurts to ask. And I said, do you have any record of me buying this pattern? I can't find it on my devices. It doesn't hurt to ask. And Webb's emailed me back the next morning. I sent the email maybe at 10 at night. It said, yes, we have you in our records. Here's the download again. So thank you, Webb's. That was great customer service. Speaking of good customer service, I also emailed the Trindle man for my broken Trindle. And he said, yeah, just send it with a return address and I'll fix it and send it back to you. So all I'm paying for is postage to send it to him. Awesome customer service. That will go out today. What else? Oh, other up and coming things. I mentioned that I'd been thinking about a scrap blanket or 2, barn raising and mitered square sock yarn, or fingering weight. Thought I'd show you all my scraps of, well, look, there's full skeins in there too. That's Jameson and Smith Shetland. I'm planning on making mittens out of these for my daughter's birthday. Some Fair Isle. It was a cupcakes pattern by Spilly Jane. Anyway, this is my sock scraps. This thing is gonna happen. Ooh, there's some hand spun scraps of the hand spun socks I knit. Those were so fun. That was Pigeon Roof Studios. I need some more of her fiber. So I need to work on this pile. And yeah, So that needs to be knit into squares. So that is up and coming. Once the designs are somewhat underway, I will cast that on. Acquisitions. Okay. The lovely Hannah, who is Fuddun, I think, on Ravelry. I don't know how you pronounce it. She contacted me saying that she wondered if she could have my leftovers of my Shalimar Zoe sock yarn in bark. I knit some, I knit some of my, oh gosh, what's that pattern called? I designed the pattern. My first sock pattern. This is embarrassing. Okay, starts with an H, floral, plant-like. This is ridiculous. Okay, well anyway, I used that yarn to knit a pair of those socks, and I had some leftovers. I was very happy to send them to her. So she sent me just the postage for it. She also sent me some lovely extras, and one of them was this pattern, Night Owl Mitts by Sarah Stewart. How cute! I've knit the owl cardigan, or the owl pullover before, and these would match so nicely. So these are great. Good idea. So thank you, Hannah. You didn't have to do that, but I'm glad you did. So what was my pattern called? Herbaceous Socks. I also got this Up Down All Around Stitch Dictionary by Wendy Bernard. This just seems like a good thing to have because she charts as a stitch dictionary. That's hard to say. But patterns are charted bottom up, top down, and in the round. That's a good thing to have. I haven't really been able to crack it yet, but I plan to read through this. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm so sorry for the lawnmower noises. I'm gonna bring you all closer. Close your eyes for a sec. Okay, you can look now. Things have stopped shaking. Okay, ask Fibertown, and then we're all done for the day. Ooh, I am efficient today. 27 minutes. There's nothing wrong with mowing your lawn at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday. I'm just saying, but I wish you wouldn't. It's these people who have a lawn service. They come when they're at work and mow their lawn. Okay. I'm answering question number 16 today from Ask Fibertown. Caroline Spin Knit. Do you use a Niddy Noddy? If so, which one do you use? Is it an essential tool for a spinner? I do use a Niddy Noddy, and I should have brought them out here. I have two. I would like to have a third. Is it an essential tool? For me it is. I don't have a skein winder or that counts yardage. So it seems to me like you either need a Niddy Noddy or a skein winder that counts yardage, which is a gadget that costs significantly more money than a Niddy Noddy. I have a Kromsky Cherry Niddy Noddy that is 2 yards in measurement, and I really like it because it makes bigger skeins like this. More of a standard length skein. I also have a 1 yard Niddy Noddy that is from Knit Picks, and that you can take apart if you want to travel with your Niddy Noddy. So I would love to have one for making mini skeins too, but it seems like kind of a frivolous purchase at this point. But I think it would be a good one to have, especially if you do swaps. And it's definitely, I'm going to make that frivolous purchase one of these days. So I think, Niddy Noddy is indispensable for me since I do not have the other way of measuring my yarn. You really need to know what kind of yardage you have in order to pick a project for your handspun. It's also good for commercial yarn if you have leftovers and you want to have an exact yardage. You can figure it out by weight and yardage per weight from the manufacturer. But if you want to know exactly, put it on your Niddy Noddy. If you want to reskein something after you frog and wash it, put it on your Niddy Noddy. Although I also do use my Umbrella Swift for that if I don't care about measuring the yardage. But for most hand spuns, I need to measure the yardage. So I would say that if you have neck problems or limited mobility in your arms, a Niddy Noddy might be difficult for you to use. I do all of my winding usually in one go, and I definitely feel it in my arms and sometimes my neck. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yes, I use a Niddy Noddy 2 yard, 1 yard, and I do think they are essential for me. Okay, I wanted to expand a little bit on something I talked about last week, and that was the question about how I make time for knitting. And I realized that I left out kind of one very key part in my particular situation. That is what kind of household I have. It is not a traditional household, in the sense that it is a multi-generational household, sort of, not completely. We've lived here for about 7 going on 8 years, and we made a decision when we started looking for now I have an airplane. Oh. We looked for a house with an in-law suite, which is something that's kind of typical. Multi-generational houses are more typical in other cultures, and my husband is from one of these cultures. We live in an area where the cost of living is significant, and the pace of living is fast. And it's a little bit the cult of busy, you know, that cult of busy that I'm talking about. I don't subscribe to it. I used to. I don't anymore. And our household reflects that. We have what we call the compound. And we were very lucky to find this place, which was built already with a separate apartment. That means separate entrance, separate kitchen, separate laundry, separate utilities. And my parents live there. And it is a very nice apartment. They have gutted it and rebuilt it and expanded it to their needs. So what that has meant is that my children have always been very close to my parents. In fact, if I am sick of feeding them all day, I'll say, go and see what Yaya has. My father is a fanatical gardener. You can see a little bit behind me. He does all the yard work. He works from home. He's in the office 1 day a week. So there's always someone around that can lend a hand. My mother works. She has her own office, off-site, so she doesn't work here. But we share the porch, we share the garage, and we share the yards, the front and the back. So what that means is that although my husband works very long hours, and now we are on one salary, it's doable because we have this compound situation. And it's lovely. My kids are, they're growing up with their grandparents around, which is rare and valuable and can be lovely. I understand that not everyone could do this. And I wasn't sure that I could. It was my husband who was sort of used to this living arrangement in his culture that was on board before I was. And with good boundaries and manners and not overusing the babysitter services, hopefully, it has worked really well. And we decided, that it's really made the pace of life easier and given us choices that we may not have had otherwise. So I'm telling you all this just to say that it's what makes my life easier and more peaceful, therefore giving me more knitting time. Um, we don't generally share meals, although in the summer we do often eat together on the porch. Let me show you the table. Here it is. So what is going on right now is a little home improvement project at my parents'. So they're working on a door over there. Yeah. So now you know a little bit more than you probably wanted to about me, but that just gives you a little insight into that question that someone asked about how do you find time for everything. And it's been a conscious decision to have a bit of a different lifestyle and to change things in an effort to slow things down. So our compound is a little oasis of multi-generational easy living. Let's just call it that for me. There's almost always help if I need it, if I've got, conflicts taking one kid somewhere and the other somewhere else. So yeah, it makes life easier, and it's a choice we made that I'm really glad we made. Now I'm gonna shut up. Oh, but I'm gonna show you Alice real quick. Take the camera off. Close your eyes again. There she is, having her nappy poo. Alice! Alright. Now you get to see me again. Are you having a good week? I hope so. And until I see you next week, y'all take care. Bye-bye.